Welcome back to the Greenville Chamber's Growing a Greater Greenville podcast. We're excited to share with you our Greater Together series on the partnerships that shape Greenville. I'm your host, Carlos Phillips, and today we're sitting down with Doug Erwin, Vice Chair and Chief Brand Officer, and Megan Kolak, Senior Vice President of the Greenville Triumph and Greenville Liberty. Megan and Doug, welcome to today's show.
Thanks for having us, Carlos.
Great to see you.
All right, good deal. Now, before we get started, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsors of today's episode: Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, First National Bank, and Acumen IT. Thank you again to our sponsors. And if you guys are ready, we'll jump right in.
Ready.
All right. Hey, Doug, can you give us an overview of the Greenville Triumph and Greenville Liberty? Their missions within the Greenville community?
Yeah, Carlos. Thanks again for having us. We're excited to talk about it. We at the Triumph and Liberty we always joke that our mission, is to create joy, not to play soccer. And it's not a joke. It is our mission. For us, we started a professional men's soccer team, the Greenville Triumph, about 6 years ago, and we're in our sixth season of play. And started the Greenville Liberty, which is a pre-professional women's team, in 2022, and we just finished our third season of play. So we're on this strange, fun journey of bringing elite soccer for men and women to upstate South Carolina, and this was something that was born out of scratch. And again, the mission of the team is we want to unite people through soccer and create joy for residents all across the upstate, to be able to come out to matches, to see us in and around the community, and to use soccer as a unifier and some place that people can showcase not just their pride for the teams, but their pride for living in the Greenville and upstate community. I won't tell the full story of how we started, but Carlos, as you know, but the listeners probably don't. You were an instrumental force in getting our organization started, in getting us connected to the United Soccer League. For the listeners, the United Soccer League, which operates multiple leagues in the professional and amateur spaces of soccer in America, was starting a brand new league in 2019, and they were barnstorming around the country in 2018. And Carlos was one of the people that met with the league and a group of business leaders in the community about bringing a team to Greenville. And Carlos was smart enough or dumb enough, however you want to see it, Carlos.
Usually it's I'm dumb enough.
Okay, we'll go with smart enough in this case, to get us connected. My father, Joe Erwin, to hear more about this, is my family's got a little bit of background in marketing on the sports side in Greenville, in the upstate, and we're
just a little bit,
and we're very thankful that Carlos got us connected to be able to just kind of investigate and ultimately launch this crazy journey that we've been on since 2018 about starting now these two soccer teams. And it's been a wild ride. So Carlos, thank you again for kind of really, no pun intended, kicking this process off for us and opening that door for us to take this plunge.
Always the marketer, Doug. Hey, I'm going to go off script again. I'm going to go off script for the first time. So your mission of bringing joy, I got to tell you, there's a different level of joy that one experiences when attending a Triumph or Liberty game. I mean, what is the difference between the soccer fans and fans of other sports? And Doug, either Doug or Megan, you can take that, but there's just something different about soccer.
Yeah, well, I'll start and Megan chime in if I miss anything. But you're totally right, Carlos. And I think I grew up not too close to soccer until high school, college, when I had some friends and some roommates that played and got me into it. But the passion for soccer is unparalleled, and I think it's a game that anybody can play, which makes it very accessible, and it's a game that has so many different facets of leagues and levels. And it really, I feel like soccer is the globalization of certainly Greenville and the upstate, but the globalization of society in general has brought soccer closer, has brought it across the pond to us, and it's blowing up at the youth level, in terms of participation. And South Carolina is one of the fastest growing states in the country for youth participation on a per capita index. So it's become it's certainly one of the top two or three most popular sports amongst youth demographics these days. But you see that passion at the games, with people waving flags and setting off colored smoke, and it's just a fun game. It's a fun game to watch. It's fast paced, and I think as we've grown to all have shorter attention spans thanks to our phones and computers and everything else, I think soccer and basketball are the two that you see are well suited to that, because it is such quick action. And even though there's not always a ton of scoring, there's just a lot of excitement and anticipation. And Megan played up through college, so I know she can speak to the intensity of the game as well and how that translates to the fandom.
Well, it certainly captured the imagination of our community and folks like me. I played the real football uh, for a few years, and I'm talking, you know, kits and vuvuzelas and all those sorts of things. And those words were not in my vocabulary prior to our teams launching here in Greenville. So thank you for that. Megan, let's kick it to you. The triumph and the liberty have had a notable impact on our local economy and our community. Can you share some insights on its impact here?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. When I was brought on with the club 6 years ago and I sat down with Doug and with our team president, Chris, we discussed what my role was going to be and what that role would contain and how we wanted to evolve my role. And that's really focusing on our community impact along with working with our corporate partners. And so part of that I've learned over the past 6 years of how to consistently change our community programs and initiatives to making sure that we are making an impact. And so about 3 years ago, we developed these community pillars. And really, what they're rooted in is four different areas with education, health and wellness, soccer development, and social equity. And so we have initiatives that fall underneath those pillars. So everything that we're doing from a club front that is related to the community or our partnerships or ticket sales, it all funnels back to those primary focuses and goals. So then that way we can make sure that we're making concerted efforts along the way and every we're not everyone to everybody in that kind of sense. And so what we've done is it's been great because as we've reflected every year, we've been able to enhance our programs. So for example, this past year, we brought on a new employee who is overseeing our community relations department. And from there, when he was involved, he saw all the community programs running and he came to me and was like, "Hey, I want to change things up." I was like, "Absolutely, Leo. What do you want to do?" And he was like, "I feel like, we go to all these appearances once and these kids are super excited, right? They love the players, they love the engagement, and they ask when we can come back. And then we don't go back. Not because we don't want to, it's just because our time commitment and we've already scheduled that appearances. We have other upcoming appearances. So we can't go back to the same organization or the same school over and over again." And so what he did is he actually created a program called Future Leaders. And we work with five organizations all year round. And then we have four specific touch points with them all year round so that we are consistently going back. So it's very much of a partnership that we've developed with them so that we are giving back to their school. We are donating time. We are working with their students. Of course, there's soccer involved and there's field trips involved. And anything that we can do to enhance their learning abilities or kind of just enhance their quality of life, that is what that program is totally focused on. And it's been great to watch and it's been great to see everything unfold and all the feedback that comes with it from working with those organizations. And it's wonderful to see a staff member of ours kind of recognize that and be like, "Hey, I think we need to change direction. I think we can do a better job here. And this is what I want to do." And watching it all kind of come to life has been really great. So that's what we've been doing with a lot of our programs. But there's a handful that we have that we do on the Triumph and the Liberty side. Some of them are combined. Some of them are, solely just for that dedicated club. But we really try to make sure that we're making an impact every time we're doing something, and it's a really true intentional impact.
Good, good. And your engagement throughout the community, it is significant and highly recognized. So congratulations. Congratulations there.
Thank you.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina is a longtime partner of the Greenville Chamber and offers a wide range of health plans and options designed just for Chamber members. Companies with 51 or more employees have access to Chamber Blue, Blue Cross's exclusive portfolio of more than 40 unique health plans, with enhanced office visit copays, access to innovative apps, and more. Blue Cross is the only South Carolina health insurance carrier serving its citizens for more than 75 years. For information about our health plans for Chamber members, call the Greenville Chamber at 864-239-3723.
Speaking of visibility and recognition, I think our listeners would love to hear the story about the car.
That's a good story, and one that I will say was a surprise to Megan and myself and everyone on the staff. So the Greenville Triumph name does not have anything to do with the Triumph car company name. The Triumph name goes back to Greenville and the upstate's ability to shift from a textile center of really the country and the world. And as that industry moved away from America, Greenville was one of the few places that was able to rebound and triumph over that adversity and become such a great, the great region we know today. So the car company, the Triumph, obviously a British car company that's no longer really around. That was just a happy coincidence. And soccer's an interesting sport in that most teams do not have mascots, certainly not costume traditional mascots, at least abroad. So my dad, Joe Erwin, kind of ran with this idea of, well, what if we bought an old Triumph and, made that kind of the mascot? So that way we don't have somebody in a costume, but we still have this symbol that's unique and does share the coincidence of the name Triumph. So unbeknownst to us, he bought this used I'm going to forget the exact year. It's a late 50s, early 60s Triumph TR3 little car that's about the size of a pack of gum that is absolutely terrifying to sit in and drive when you're pulled up next to a Suburban or something. But bought this car, had it restored, had it wrapped in Greenville Triumph colors, and then unveiled it to the front office staff and to fans and everyone about a week before we kicked off for our first game in 2018. And since then, it's become one of the most visible aspects of our organization. It's out at festivals and parades and charity events and sponsor appearances all over the community. So it's become a really fun symbol of the team and something that people can instantly recognize around the community. And I know it gets a lot of points and waves when it's driving around town. We've used it in some videos, and it's just, again, it's kind of a happy coincidence with the Triumph name that we've taken it and run with it, and Megan's team uses it a lot at community appearances. So it's been a great asset for us.
So Megan, have you driven it yet, Megan?
No, I will not drive it. And the reason being is it apparently has drum brakes, and I'm not a car person, but from what I understand is when you have drum brakes, you need to press on the brake much harder than normal, and you have to give yourself way more leeway when you're stopping. So it's funny. We actually have an employee that's never driven it. He test drove it today because we are going to a Greer City camp at 1:00, and the campers are doing like a little live auction. So we're gonna auction off the Triumph car to these campers, along with, I think they're doing a police vehicle and a fire truck. So our employee James is actually driving it for the first time, and so I know everything's going to go well.
Carlos, I believe you've ridden in the car before, correct?
He has. Yes, he has.
And awesome experience.
Better riding on it across a soccer field, right, than on an open road.
I was surprised I fit inside the vehicle. Uh, actually, more room than I thought. But yeah, um, that is a spectacular component of your brand. And I feel sorry for the police car and the fire truck today. Uh, the Triumph is going to get most of the attention. Um, so, Doug, you referenced your dad, Joe, who he doesn't like it when I reference him this way. But he is one of the legends of our community. And the legacy just grew even more with his decision about the Triumph and the Liberty. So he's a well-known community leader. How has his vision and leadership influenced the community involvement of the Triumph and the Liberty?
Yeah, no, great question. And I'll let Megan help me with this because it is a little weird. I don't want to sound like we're patting our family on the back too much coming from me, but I know my dad and my mom too have had a very successful business career for 30 plus years operating one of the largest advertising agencies in the Southeast, and they could have done that anywhere in the Southeast. I think they were encouraged to do that elsewhere in the Southeast, but they felt passionate about Greenville and this community and the greatness of this community and the uniqueness of it. So I think that vision has always been there to try and better Greenville, and that they were able to do that and create hundreds of jobs, for people in Greenville and then later beyond Greenville as well. But it's always been with the caveat of community service being a huge part. And as I remember, kind of growing up around the culture of Erwin Penland advertising, there was always that that servant leadership culture and community service culture too. They got a day each year, all the employees to be able to give back and volunteer, and always participated in programs around town. And giving back was always very important. And the successes that my parents had allowed them to sell their agency and retire from that. But my dad is not the type of the retirement type of guy. So he's always looking for the next thing, the next opportunity, and being able to help create success for others is part of why after that we started Endeavor, our co-working space that we run on North Main Street, and then how can we give back to the community? And again, it comes back to the mission of creating joy. This is a joyful project for all of us, and I know that mission statement that we talked about earlier is something that came straight from him. And again, wanting to give back and create that joy for people in Greenville and the upstate. So I know that's been a huge part, and that mission and his vision of that guides what we do every day, and definitely guides what Megan and her team does in the community on the hundreds of days we're out in the community. We're kind of limited. We only get to play 15 home games on the men's side and 6 home games on the women's side. So that's 21 of 365 days that we're able to actually, put on soccer games. So there's a lot more to living that mission outside of those 21 days. I think, Megan, you would agree, right?
I would agree. And just to kind of echo Doug is, when I was approached about the opportunity to be a part of this club and a part about the franchise and everything, and when Chris was sharing with me that, the Erwin family is behind this, I was very much on board because, and it happened too, when we announced that we were going to bring a club here, and then we announced the name and we announced the Liberty, because of Joe's credibility, and his connections and his relationships in the upstate. Even though we in the community didn't know what this was going to be, you just knew it was something that you had to be a part of.
It's almost like a good housekeeping seal because Joe was behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even now, And I will bring up the stadium in a small part is, we have been, having the stadium conversations and we're working towards it. And we have a lot of fans and partners that came on at the ground level. And because they know of how purposeful Joe is and how that has rooted, has come down to his staff and his staff fulfilling that mission daily. They're waiting because they know it's coming. We're still working on that timeline, but they have faith in us because they have faith in him. And I think that says a lot because he built that himself. Him and Gretchen built that, when they've been in the upstate, grew up here, and the relationships and just how he does business. He does business in the right way. And he's so humble. And I remember opening night of our inaugural season, he had the opportunity that he wanted to address the crowd before we kicked off the game. And he did so. And I was standing there with him holding, so I could get the mic from him afterwards. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Look what we did." And it wasn't like, "Look what I did." It was, "Look what we did." He immediately always doesn't you know, uh, applaud himself or pat himself on the back. It's always a we. And I find that so refreshing and so motivating to work for somebody like that because it's not about him. It's truly about the legacy that he is leaving. And even I know the first year we made this little mini documentary series called The Game Plan, which was super fun. And if everybody ever gets the chance to watch it, in there, Joe talks about why he brought club, both teams, to Greenville and why we're doing this. And it was to leave a legacy, to create a strong impact in the community and constantly give back. Because, like Doug said, that's been their mission forever, just personally. And we've done a lot of things like that throughout the past 6 years to continually live that mission to, meet Joe's goals and his vision.
We're all going to be in trouble for talking about Joe so much, uh, but he's more than earned it. It's more than deserving, and he continues to give back to this community in immeasurable ways, and we certainly appreciate it. All right, so Megan, can you tell us about some upcoming events or initiatives that the clubs have planned for the rest of 2024 and going into 2025?
Absolutely. So with some upcoming events, I'll kind of talk about some theme nights that we've got on the horizon. So we do have a game this Saturday. So I'm not sure when this will be aired, but on July 13th, we do a game that is going to honor servicemen and women. But at the end of the month, we have a retro night. So we're going back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So that will be a lot of fun. And then in October, we have a cause game. So we're going to do a kick cancer game. And then, of course, we're going to end the season at the end of October with our annual fan appreciation game. So those are kind of some up-season games that are coming too. So we have, I think, 6 games left of the season. But those are going to be some really fun programmed ones. So if y'all are looking at interested in coming to a game, I would check out those. And then things in the community that we're doing on the Liberty side, I have been working with one of our partners, LMG Architects. And when I was working with them on their partnership and talking to them about all of their assets and what we're doing and what they're doing and learning more about their business, they talked about how they are very civic minded as well. And so what we're doing is we're working with them and some other partners of ours to actually build mobile food pantries in the upstate. So the Liberty and our head coach, Julie Carlson, and some Triumph and Liberty staff members and the LMG staff and Live Well Greenville, we're actually going to have a build day to build these mobile food pantries from scratch. And then we are going to deliver them to 5 different places in the upstate where they will be constantly. I think most mobile food pantries are kind of owned by a church. They kind of own that responsibility. So then they'll continue to restock those. So, which is great. So we're going to continue to work on that. And so on the Liberty front, we are going to keep working on our Changing the Conversation platform, which also spearheads our head coach, Julie Carlson. And this is really where it allows the programming is different each time we host an event. But at the end of July, we're hosting another event. And I believe it will be somewhere in Greenville. And it's going to have a panel of different influencers in the community, kind of just talking about women empowerment and how do women kind of, how can we kind of lean on each other how do we raise the ceiling? How do we work in a men's world, whether it's sports or non-sports related? And then just how do we kind of, rise up together to create a very strong women united front. So that's been a great program. So that will continue and as toward the end of the month. And then we are, of course, looking at finishing some soccer clinics with the YMCA, Spartanburg United. So just little things like that. And the last thing I will say is we're going to pilot an event this fall where it's going to focus on a big community day where we're hoping if it goes the way we want to and successful, then we're going to instill 3 community days next year, which would focus on our unified team, which is our Special Olympics team, and our Liberty and our Triumph.
A robust list and lineup of community activities that you've got going on.
Let's turn a trip to the branch into a tap on your phone. Let's hit pause on a lost debit card without hitting pause on life. That's how First National Bank is redefining convenience. With a top-rated mobile app that puts more security and control at your fingertips and friendly people to help you succeed right by your side. Let's get started at fnb-online.com or your local First National Bank branch. FNB, member FDIC.
One thing that's clear, that's been clear throughout this conversation is the level at which you value partnerships. It's not the triumph and the liberty against the world. You're including everybody in this joy, if you will. Why is that so important to the clubs?
For us, I think there are a couple different areas where it's so important. On the corporate partnership side, the sponsorship side, it's important to make create partnerships in the community because that's critical for us from a revenue standpoint. But it's about talking to businesses locally, regionally, nationally, but really locally about what are their needs and how can we set them up for more success and increase visibility for them through our organization and get them get their name out for our fan base. I noticed, Carlos, when you're reading the sponsors of today's podcast, 2 out of these 3 are sponsors of ours as well. So that's exciting to see, the community organizations coming together for the betterment of the community. So that's important. It's important for us. And those are people that a lot of whom have supported us since day one and not just support us for their reasons, but see value in it. Like we see value in partnering with them, and trying to give their, employees, not just their company visibility, but their employees access to the team and, fun corporate outings and everything. And then in the community, with partnerships, I think Megan and her team do such a great job getting us out in the community, but we don't claim to know everything about community service. So it's important for us to partner with organizations that already operate in the space and, know the Greenville community so well, and especially areas of the community that, don't get the proper resources that they might ultimately need. So for us to be able to have longstanding partnerships with United Way, YMCA, Harvest Hope, Blood Connection, to name a few, those are really fulfilling partnerships. And for us, to be able to give back and know that we're giving back in the right ways, and we're partnering with organizations that have proven track records of, success in the community. And for us also to look at partnerships in the soccer space, we have a great partnership with CISA, which is the largest youth soccer organization in the upstate. And we've been able to expand that as well and, create scholarships and then increase, their number of people that they are able to get playing for them. And also on the soccer side, to take some of the brightest young talent in the upstate in terms of soccer and give them opportunities to train in a professional environment and, have a better shot at getting college scholarships or turn professional like we've been able to sign a couple players there. So again, we like to not just be out in the community, but partner with some organizations that are already in the community and out being champions for their causes. So we wouldn't be able to have that success and be able to reach the community like we want to without great organizations like that across Greenville and the upstate.
When we meet with our partners and we're having constant conversations with them, the community is always forefront for them too, and very top of mind. So it's really easy when you're sitting with your partner, you just got a contract and you're like, okay, you're a new partner, or maybe you're up for renewal and you're coming back on board, and we're talking about what their assets are. I would say about 75% of our partners all have a community asset tied in their partnership, because that's what's so important to them. And it was really eye opening. So I'm not from the upstate. I moved here about 13 years ago. And so I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and Cleveland, Ohio and Greenville, South Carolina could not be any different. And learning when I first moved down here, just learning about how important the relationship is and the business community supporting is so philanthropic. It's very different than Cleveland, right? And so it's just something I've learned along the way. And it's so true is, even though a lot of our partners are local partners too, or from the upstate, which is great. Some of them aren't, but they're still very civic minded. And it's great because when we're working on all these community programs and these initiatives, and if we have a new idea, we go to them that we think it aligns well, and they're all in. They're like, okay, you tell me how I can help you. We want to be a part of this, because it's so important for them to be a part of their community. And that's been so great, because as we're building joy out in the community, we're really doing it alongside other companies that want to do the same thing. So it's been a really easy transition to make year over year to continually to provide all the programming that we do in the upstate.
Well, you certainly model partnership and giving back to the community. I've got an old saying that says "givers gain," and the fact that your organization is so giving to the community, it is no mystery as to why you're doing so well. So we appreciate that. What advice would you what advice would you give other organizations who are seeking partnerships and want to be a better partner in the community?
Yeah, Megan could probably answer this a little better than I can, but I think the one thing I would say, you've got to put in the work, and it's not as easy as just sending a check somewhere. At some point, the checks will run out. You won't be able to just send. So what we always say is, if we can't send a check, can we volunteer some time? I think people think that a donation is just the way to solve anything and the way to get involved. And it's not always. And that's why I really appreciate Megan and her team and what they're able to do of really putting boots on the ground and get out there. And I think a lot of it, Carlos, all comes back to mission and staying authentic and true to that mission. Have a civic minded approach to your business's mission. It needs to be more than just about the product that you're selling. So I think that's certainly where I would start, and just get connected. I think that to plug the Greenville Chamber, that's part of what's great about the chamber is getting you connected to other businesses, in the community, and getting involved and getting to know those people that are going to help grow your network and give you avenues to find how you want to make your mark in the community. None of us can be everywhere all the time, but that's what's so great about a community like Greenville is there are so many great lanes you can pick to give back. Megan, wouldn't you agree?
I would agree, absolutely. And it's another thing I learned when I came to South Carolina is that Greenville is so connected, right? Like you wouldn't, it's not that it's small, because it's grown immensely in the past 13 years that I've been here, but if I know somebody, they know somebody, and they know somebody. So it's great that when you're looking for a partner, a community partner, a corporate partner, and you're looking at your goals and our goals, and does it align, and you find that they align, and then you kind of keep having that conversation over and over again, and keep defining the goals and the rules and what the partnership looks like. It's really cool when it comes together. For example, this third year, we're working with McMillan Pasden Smith, and we're doing our annual school tools event that United Way puts on. So United Way has a very near and dear heart to Joe. And so we've been supporting that organization since day one. And also with McMillan, they do the same thing, and United Way is very important to them. So we found that common ground with something in their partnership. And so for the third year, our players are actually packing book bags for that event that's going to happen at the end of July. So it's just great when that synergy comes together. And then it just shows you how important that relationship is, to keep building upon that relationship, to really know who you're working with and who you're speaking to, so that if you need assistance or you're looking for something, you can just call in and say, "Hey, I'm looking for this," and you can lean on them. And more than likely, they know somebody to help you. And I think it's also really, when you're working with your community partners or even your corporate partners, it's always about just staying committed, and it's a continuous improvement, right? It's how can we make things better year over year? How can we, take this program and then we've done it for 3 years and it's coming stale. How can we refresh it, and rejuvenate it? And it's working with the entities that are involved to do that. And everybody gets really excited about it. So I think when you constantly strive to do better, everybody wants to, and everybody gets really excited about it.
Well said, Megan. And you all clearly live that example every day. You live that example every day. So thank you for that. Um, so as we wrap up, I want to thank you, Doug, and Megan, for joining us today. Clearly, you are helping to grow a greater Greenville, and not just through your clubs, but just through all the work that you're doing in the community. So thank you for that. Learn more about the Greenville Triumph and the Greenville Liberty partnerships with the Greenville Chamber by following us on our social media channels. I want to thank our sponsors once again: Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, First National Bank, and Acumen IT. Thank you for your support. And I want to thank our listeners. Thank you for joining us and for helping us in our efforts to grow a greater Greenville. Everybody take care.